Okay, so I missed the last couple of days because I've been having issues with my sleep. I won't get into I won't bore you with the details. But I got two things to open today. I decided since I don't think either one of these is going to be too long to talk about on their own, I'll just talk about them both on the same episode. I've got this 1966 Batgirl figure. It says Batman 66, but we're going to talk more about that in a minute. And I've got the Batgirl cycle. Now, here's the artwork on the back. It's got a nice Jose Luis Garcia Lopez illustration of Batgirl riding on her Batgirl cycle. And, she's wearing the purple outfit that she wore on the cartoon. Ironically, the one Batgirl from this line I haven't been able to get yet. So let's go ahead and get this out of the package. And I think all I have to do is snip that little zip tie there, and voila, it's out of the package already. So this is the first vehicle I've actually opened on here. You can see that it is indeed just named Batgirl Cycle, because that's what they called it on the TV, was the Batgirl Cycle. And you can see it matches the trade dress that we've seen on this line throughout the years. And has a kickstand that flips up and down, so that's nice. Wheels roll nicely. Got rubber tires. That's pretty cool. Does not seem like the front wheel turns, and the handlebars are very rubbery. It's got a white seat with kind of gold trim hanging off of it. They had this weird idea with this motorcycle that they had to make it girly, since she's a girl. So they put like lace on it and a bow in the back, and even the windshield is supposed to kind of represent like a makeup compact. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with those choices, but they were choices that were made. I will say that the mirror is kind of tilted downwards in a way. It should probably be more tilted upwards. I could probably fix it if I heated it up and twisted it and just kind of held it in position until it cooled. But for right now, it's just going to be twisted. But it's a nice purple color. It's just not a bad vehicle, and I think she'll look nice sitting on it, depending on how well she sits on it. But yeah, like I said, not a whole lot actually to say about this. I mean, you've seen it. There it is. That's what it looks like. So, yeah, what else do I say? Go ahead and set that aside. Yeah, that took me 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So, really not a lot. It's probably good I didn't do that as its own episode. I got more to say about it once we put the figure on the bike. So, it might have come up to about 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and open her up. Oh, there's the artwork on the back. It's the same piece of Mike Allred artwork we're used to seeing on the back of these comic based 1966 figures. And then there's the portrait of the figure, the digital render. So we got her off the package. It does make sense that I do both of these as one episode, because it was I bought them together as a bundle on the Mcfarlane website, and it was rather inexpensive to do that. It cost less to buy the figure with the motorcycle than either one of those things would have been at retail. Like, I believe the retail price on the cycle was originally $30. And looking it over, I think it was probably overpriced at $30. It probably should have been more like 20. So, but yeah, I paid like I think like $18 for the two of them together, and right now these figures are like 20 a piece retail. So yeah, it was cheaper to get them as a bundle than it would have been to get them. They're both on sale individually, but even then, like, I kind of feel like you know it's still cheaper to get the bundle overall. Get the little rubber tab cut there, and then we can have a look at our Batgirl figure. She only has the one rubber tab holding her in the package. And here she is out of the package. Now, the interesting thing about this figure, the odd thing about this figure, if I'm being honest, is she's colored like Batman the animated series. So even though it says Batman 66 on the package, which implies that it's a comic book version, this isn't based on the Batman 66 comic book at all. She's colored to look like Batman the animated series. And the only thing that makes that odd, the reason I say it's odd is because they haven't done that with any other characters. Like we don't have, say, this version of Robin painted to look like how he looked on Batman the animated series. I mean, like we do have, animated versions of Batman and Robin in this line, but it's from the new adventures of Batman where they're colored to look like the Filmation versions. They have new head sculpts. And actually, this is the new adventures Batgirl. It's the same belt and head sculpt they used on her. Only now it's colored in Batman the animated series colors. She's got blue gloves and blue boots. That's a Btas Batgirl. And they even did something that I haven't seen on any of these figures yet, although I have seen it on some superpowers, where she has a two-toned cape. They colored the inside of her cape black and the outside of her cape blue. Again, like Batman the animated series. But I'm a huge fan of Batman the animated series. Btas is probably my favorite version of Batman overall. And of course, the 1966 television show of Batman is also one of my favorite versions of Batman. Like those are like probably my two favorite versions of Batman outside of the comic book. So like I think it's kind of cool to have a Batgirl that's colored like Batman the animated series. I think that's nice, but it's still an odd choice because it's just the only character they've done this with in this line. There's like I probably would like to see some other ones. Like the Joker, I think would look really cool in his BTAS colors. And like I said, Batman and Robin seem kind of obvious to me. If you're gonna do any characters in BTAS colors, do like the Adam West Batman, put him in a black and gray outfit rather than blue and gray, and do the same thing you did with the black and blue cape here, but just kind of reverse it so it's blue on the inside. That'd be a good BTAS colored Adam West Batman. And it might seem kind of odd to recolor this into the Tim Drake colors, but hey, they did the Tim Drake Robin in the classic Golden Age Robin colors. Why not do the reverse with this figure? I mean, hell, might as well. So let's go ahead and talk about our articulation. Batgirl's head rotates all the way around, but of course the hair is going to kind of interfere with that slightly. She can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side. I don't think any of the side to side or up and down movement is intentional. I think that it's just supposed to be a head that rotates all the way around. But hey, we got some bonus movement there, don't we? Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulder. It's a little stiff on mine, but we managed to get it going. And there we go. You see some stiffness in action figures from time to time, but it seems like these Batman 66 figures, they're especially prone to it. Bend the elbow about that far, and of course the elbow rotates all the way around. It's just a single joint of articulation at the elbow. The wrists rotate all the way around, and as far as her hands go, she's got one solid fist and one gripping hand. Solid fist, gripping hand. That's gonna be important later. It does look like her fins got a little bent up in the package, so one of these fins is kind of curled inwards there, you see. Batgirl can rotate all the way around at the waist, and she can kick up about that far, so you can do some nice Yvonne Craig style kicks. Even if they didn't want to pay for Yvonne Craig's likeness, or maybe even just her estate refused it. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, it does not look like Yvonne Craig. Like I said, this is the head sculpt that's more based on the Filmation cartoon. She can do the splits, no problem. And she's got a single joint of articulation at the knee that bends about that far and rotates all the way around. So that's it for the articulation. Not quite as good as the multiverse figures, but still a little bit better than, say, Superpowers. Even though these are supposed to be retro figures in theory, I feel like this is maybe retro if you're saying like late 90s to early 2000s. Like she's slightly less well articulated than a comparable DC Universe Classics figure. if her legs could move from side to side, it'd be like closer. Oh, no, she had an ab crunch. So let's go ahead and try to put her on the bat cycle and see how she looks on that. And there she sits on it actually quite nicely. So I was kind of a little worried about it since it does have that she's just got a T crotch. So it doesn't really seem particularly engineered to fit onto a motorcycle per se. But she does go onto it. So now the problem here is that you got handlebars, but you only got one hand that can hold on to a handlebar, since she's only got one gripping hand. But there we go. I guess we can just kind of put the fist kind of near the other handlebar. And there she is riding her Batgirl cycle. So she does actually look pretty decent on it, even though she can't really hold both handlebars. But I mean, if you put her on yourself facing that way, I don't think anybody's really going to notice. So even though this isn't the coloring that the TV show Batgirl had, like I think it still works pretty well. I think the colors still work pretty well with her sitting on the cycle. If we're taking like accuracy to the television series off of the table, and we're just looking at like how the colors fit together themselves, I think it works pretty well. She looks pretty good in a blue and gray outfit on a a purple motorcycle is what I'm saying. So definitely glad I picked this up. And like I said, she was a good deal. Now I would like it if they had re-released the purple Batgirl at some point, but I don't guess that's going to happen at this point. I think that this line is over. I think that it's run its course. They've put out a lot of good figures and a lot of vehicles and play sets actually. So I'd say this was a pretty successful line. It's got like a lot of really good stuff to it. And there's not a whole lot of characters left that I think that like are absolutely necessary characters. It would have been nice to see Commissioner Gordon, but I think that Neil Hamilton's estate is kind of particular. So that's why we never saw that. It would have been nice to see Chief O'Hara. It would have been nice to see, some of the other villains. Like I would have liked to see, False Face, the Mad Hatter. I think the Mad Hatter is probably the main villain I would have wanted to see. But yeah, we got most of the characters, and we got a lot of variants of Batman, which most of which were from the TV show, but then some of the other ones were from the comic books, and at least one of them from an Italian movie poster. So yeah, this episode lasted like 12 minutes. So I guess I made the right call in doing both of these on the same episode, even though I had originally intended on doing 2 episodes apiece. I just kind of ran out of days this week, and I didn't want to continue it on into the next week. So I'm like, oh, what the hell? Let's just do them both in one episode, and I think we should have time to do that. And boy, was I right. Anyway, but that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week I'll be back, and this time I'm almost certainly going to do more DC Multiverse, like I'd planned on doing this past week. But I had the opportunity to do these figures, so I figured I might as well go ahead and get those out of the way. And but yeah, we'll be back with more DC Multiverse next week. And here's some good news for those of you following the channel for a while. I did finally get the notification from Big Bad Toy Store that my Kingdom Come Superman will be arriving in my pile of loot soon. So once I have that, I'm going to get everything in my pile of loot, and then I should have a huge box of stuff coming to me with lots of Masters of the Universe. So we're going to do more Masters of the Universe. We haven't done any of those in a while. And I mean, we did like a whole bunch of Masters of the Universe. but I haven't done any like probably like a month or so at this point. So time. But I've got like the King Randor figure I've been needing to open. I've got Faker. I've got Hurricane Hordak from the Origins line. We got a lot of cool Motu stuff to open up once I get back onto that horse. And that's going to be whenever I get that Big Bad Toy Store order in. So And I'm going to place that order as soon as that Kingdom Come Superman comes in. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Batgirl and her Batgirl cycle. Not just the figures and the vehicle, but the character and the vehicle from, what's your favorite version of the Batgirl cycle that we've seen so far? I'm kind of partial to the red one from the Silver Age comics, but I've got some fondness for this one too. Obviously, being a fan of the television show and all, and I did really like the Batgirl cycle that she had in the movie Batman and Robin that Barbara Wilson had in the movie Batman and Robin. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if McFarlane's ever going to get around to doing those cycles from the Redbird cycle or the Batgirl cycle from Batman and Robin, but probably not. But maybe one day, who knows? Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.